And from the News Hub here in Accra, this is News 360 on TV3. My name is Issa Moni.
And I am Solis Rose Korte. Welcome once again.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
In headlines, police launch manhunt for 7 suspects who escaped Kwabenya police station in the early hours of Sunday. Meanwhile, security experts reiterate calls on the state to adequately resource the police to deliver its mandate.
Also tonight, fire guts about 15 shops and vehicles at Swami Magazine in Kumasi.
Speaker of Parliament Aaron Mike Okwe sworn in as acting president of Ghana in the absence of both President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
In Mission tonight, poor road network in Wa East District of the Upper West region hindering quality and effective healthcare delivery.
And international news, United Nations sources say at least 5 people have been killed in widespread protest in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Right, we have details including sports entertainment coming up this hour, so stay with us as we bring you the details right now. Now, the police have launched a manhunt for 7 suspects who escaped the Kwabenya police station in the LIs of Sunday, January 21. The 7, including 1 Nigerian, escaped when some unidentified armed men attacked the station and shot a supervising inspector.
The 7 escapees are 34-year-old Nigerian Chibuza Akwabu, Edem Roxon, 32, Prince Ose, 27, Dixon Ofori, 24, Emmanuel Kote, 21, Kofi Dakon, 21, and Atakojo, 20, all Ghanaians. The 7 were part of 13 inmates of the Kwabenya Tommy Hills police station at the time the armed gang stormed the station. The incident occurred in the wee hours of Sunday, January 21. The armed gang, whose number and identity are yet to be known, reportedly attacked the Kwabenya Tommy Hills police station. They shot a supervising inspector who had just arrived at the station on duty tour of the area at close range. The armed gang reportedly opened the cell and freed 7 of the 13 inmates on detention for varying offenses and fled the scene. The inspector was reportedly rushed to the 37 military hospital where he passed on whilst receiving treatment.
The situation is under control and we are doing everything that we can to bring the perpetrators to book, to get them arrested. So for now, we have to assure the people of public that we are doing everything humanly possible to get these suspects arrested and also give the general public the needed security.
This comes just a few days after armed herdsmen ambushed a police military team tasked to enforce a court order against nomadic herdsmen in Asante Achimagogo. So what might be emboldened criminal elements to mount direct attacks on state-assigned security agents?
Meanwhile, some security experts have reiterated calls on the state to adequately resource the police to deliver its mandate. The experts were reacting to the killing of a police inspector at the Kwabenya police station on Sunday. A report by Peter Kwao Adato.
The Kwabenya police station is located on the Atomic Dome Road near the School of Nuclear and Allied Science, University of Ghana. It therefore came as a surprise that a gang of armed men could attack and shot an officer, 3 inmates, and fled without any clue to who the perpetrators are. A close look around suggested a number of shots were fired through the charge office. It was unclear how the criminals executed the crime. So does this call for the security of the police stations?
There is always lessons learned from issues that has happened. We have standard security measures in all police stations. This is one of the few cases that we have witnessed, and we have to review our security station and see how this can be strengthened.
Security experts Adam Bona and Emmanuel Koten are of the view there's the need for a paradigm shift to policing.
It's a wake-up call for us that we need to provide security, like the bulletproof vest. You see our MTCO on the way, they don't even have reflectors and stuff like that. So the state is failing them. So I think these are things we should begin to do
If they had the surveillance systems in place, at least it would have shown us how these people organize themselves to break into the place to free these people. So that even if in the unlikely situation where we don't arrest them, we still will know how they planned it, so we can put in measures to stop another situation like that.
For a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Seydou Alidu, handling of information in the media should be checked as it compromises the security of the state.
I think it's not a very good way to go about investigating crime, because sometimes, in most cases, the whole element of confidence and secrecy can help a lot in investigation and also arresting the culprits. But even what should have been put out there were the culprits, those who had committed the crime, so that people will be on the lookout for them and can inform the police when they get them. But you don't rather put the victim of these particular circumstances into the picture when probably mostly his parents or his relatives or his spouse and children are not even informed officially about what is going on. You know, that is not a good sign of respect for people who sacrifice their lives to protect this country.
This is about the 4th police officer who have so far died in line of duty in the first month of 2018, bringing to bear the need to fortify the police to protect society.
Right, let's move to Kumasi, where about 15 shops and 10 vehicles have been destroyed by fire at Swami Magazine in Kumasi Saturday night. Property worth thousands of Ghana cedis were set ablaze. A report by Benjamin Edu.
The fire started at about 9 p.m. Saturday. About 15 spare parts shops within the Swami Magazine enclave were gutted. Other items which were destroyed in the inferno included vehicles, spare parts, engine lubricants, corn mills, and undisclosed sums of money. The fire was reported to have started in a mechanic shop and spread to other shops. Some affected persons were seen scavenging the debris Sunday morning. Abdul Nazir is a spare parts dealer in the area.
At our section, spare parts worth almost 300,000 cedis got destroyed in the inferno.
Getting to old Kensberg 3 billion. The assemblyman for Tafun Shaeso electoral area, Alhaji Muhammad Gambo, said the fire caused extensive damage before personnel of the fire service arrived. But speaking in a telephone interview, Deputy Chief Fire Officer in charge of the Shanti region, Sameko Kweku Fiajo, said the timely intervention of their personnel averted the fire from spreading to other shops and vehicles.
Now, President Akufo-Addo is in Liberia to attend the inauguration ceremony of President-elect of the Republic of Liberia, George Oppong Weah, which is scheduled to take place on Monday, January 22 in Monrovia. The president was accompanied by Minister of Foreign Affairs Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister for National Security Albert Kandapa, and some other government officials. The Speaker of Parliament, Aaron Michael Quay, in accordance with Article 60, Clause 11 of the Constitution, has since been sworn in as acting president, as Vice President Dr. Bawumia is also on medical leave in the UK. President Akufo-Addo will return to Ghana on Tuesday, January 23, 2018.
Away from Liberia, some members of parliament have extended solidarity messages to the people of Liberia, wishing the country well as it prepares to swear in a new government and parliament on Monday.
I want to thank the whole of the Liberians for their cooperation in that peaceful election in the second round, and I wish them well, just as they have made it peaceful. I know the new president coming will take over, and the peace we are looking for in the sub-region should continue. So the parliamentarians, we wish them all the best. They should understand the needs and where they stand to work accordingly.
The Liberians have suffered a lot, and so far the president who is leaving office tomorrow has done well to bring them to constitutional rule. And for the first time, one party has won elections and there is a change. And this change is not by violence. So we can only wish them that they should develop this constitutional way of changing government and then also be patient, because to get the structures of democracy well established like parliament, it requires learning. Fortunately for them, they can always learn the best practices from the neighbors.
We are only praying that the whole Liberia will stand behind the democratically elected new president, and everybody must be on board. Not only Liberians, Africans have a common interest, common destiny. Whilst I called for support from his own countrymen and women, I even called for greater support from African leaders and indeed all Africans.
We want to applaud them for their peaceful election, and our prayer is that they consolidate democracy the way we have done. This is going to be their first change of government from one elected regime to another, and therefore it augurs very well for Liberia. At least they've been able to navigate this hurdle. Our prayer is that they should learn lessons from the neighborhood. They should build a national consensus on the key developmental issues that affect Liberia.
Liberia, for once, have demonstrated that democracy should be the order of the day, and that is proper. I wish them well. It is my fervent prayer that with this new government, they will continue to prosper as people.
And now to an event that took place earlier today. The Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Aaron Mike Oquaye, has been sworn in as acting President of Ghana following the absence of both President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. President Nana Akufo-Addo left Ghana Sunday afternoon to Liberia to attend the swearing-in ceremony of Liberian President-elect George Oppong Weah, whilst the Vice President is currently seeking medical care in the United Kingdom.
Article 60 of the 1992 Constitution says where the President and the Vice President are both unable to perform the functions of the President, the Speaker of Parliament shall perform those functions until the President or the Vice President is able to perform those functions or a new President assumes office, as the case may be. The Speaker, Aaron Mike Oquaye, before his swearing-in, read a statement on the President's departure to Liberia.
In accordance with Article 59 of the Constitution, I write to inform you that I will be traveling outside the country on 21st January 2018 to Monrovia, Liberia, at the invitation of His Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
The first Deputy Speaker, Joseph Osei Owusu, then took the speakership seat to enable the Speaker, Mike Oquaye, take the presidential oath, which was administered by the Chief Justice, Sophia Akufo.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will be faithful and true.
That I will be faithful and true.
To the Republic of Ghana.
To the Republic of Ghana.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu argued absence from the country is not the same as not being able to perform his functions as President. Boko Central Member of Parliament Mahama Ayarga addressed the press on the issue.
So it is unnecessary to be swearing in the Speaker to act as President during the period when he is actually carrying out the functions of a President, sitting in Liberia, leading a Ghanaian delegation in Liberia. So that is the issue that we are raising, that we should review this practice where a president is actually carrying out the function of a president elsewhere, and then we bring in a speaker to act as a president.
Mr. Speaker, I raised this matter some 3 years ago. I was Mr. Speaker, the deputy went to say that at that time I belonged to another side of the house. So it appears when I raised it, it didn't matter at the time. Today it should matter.
Aaron Mike Oquaye is expected to hold the position for the next 24 hours. The swearing-in of Liberian President-elect is expected to take place on Monday.
Away from Parliament, work on the Peshi Bridge on the Lateshin Beach Road in Accra is yet to be completed 3.5 years after reconstruction began. Frederick Clarence Williams reports motorists are currently using a temporary bridge as construction work has stalled.
The Peshi Bridge is the main link between Accra and Tema on the Eastern Corridor. The road remains the only alternative route between Accra and Tema after the motorway. It faces imminent collapse if immediate action is not taken to repair the bridge. From afar, the bridge appears strong, but a closer look reveals its structural defect. The Peshi Bridge was closed to traffic in October 2014 for major rehabilitation work. The bridge, which was renovated many years ago, had become weak with visible cracks. 2 weeks after TV3's report in October 2014, maintenance works on the bridge started and was expected to be completed in February 2015. 3.5 years on, the project has still not been completed. Even though some work has been done on one lane of the bridge, the project has been abandoned. The left lane of the bridge has deteriorated further. Cracks on strategic support positions are also eating deeper. Structural cracks have become visible here as well, a clear warning that peeling is not far off. Motorists are currently using a temporary Bailey bridge, but this has also developed cracks, making it difficult for motorists to use. If immediate steps are not taken to complete the bridge, motorists could face imminent danger.
Now let's move over to the Western region, where bankers have been ranked as the most reckless drivers in that region. Officials of the National Road Safety Commission say the commission will be ruthless with reckless drivers this year.
At an incident command and control program in Takoradi, the Western and Central Regional Manager of the National Road Safety Commission, Thomas Bismarck Boache, disclosed that the rankings were arrived at after a random survey in the Western region.
Those who run first in careless driving are bankers, those who work at the various banks. You know, they go to work early and they close late. And when they are going to work, they rush and drive anyhow. But majority of them too don't even have license, and then even they don't even have road user certificate.
He has vowed to deal ruthlessly with recalcitrant motorists this year.
When you are arrested, we'll put you in a classroom to learn. You come, you learn 6 hours. After 6 hours, we test you. If you pass, you go. If you fail, you continue to do the 6 hours. It's just a matter of helping you to understand what it takes to be on the road.
The Western region recorded 125 fatalities from road accidents in 2017. The program was a training session on road safety for personnel from the security agencies, some medical personnel, senior journalists and other stakeholders.
The Forestry Commission is confident of a bright wildlife and ecotourism owing to recent investor interest in most of its reserves across the country. With plans to turn the Shai Hills Reserve into an archaeological research center, the Commission believes the cultural heritage of the people of Shai Osudoku will be properly preserved.
The Forestry Commission's vision of seeking some $10 million investment to upgrade the Shai Hills Reserve to boost ecotourism and make it a distinct tourism destination in the sub-region has seen some massive response.
If we come here in the next 5 years, Shai Hills will be a different place. Yes, we have advertised for people to come and then open up the potential of the area as an ecotourism destination. And we have got investors who have come, and now we are evaluating their proposals, and then we'll start by, say, middle of this year. You'll see Shai Hills coming up like Nole. If you go to Mole now, you attest to what I'm talking about.
Facilities at the reserve over the years have not seen any renovation due to lack of funds and support. A recent partnership between the University of Ghana and the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission has seen some renovations for the establishment of the Shai Hills Museum Complex project and the Archaeology Research Project. Dr. William Nate Blekpo, is an archaeology lecturer and spearheading the project.
What we're thinking of doing at this particular location in relation to the research center is to be able to show kids who come to this park and students and researchers that people have lived here way before even Europeans arrived, and the evidence can be seen in ceramics and other material culture here. And also we're hoping that when visitors come, we can take them through archaeological excavation techniques by having hands-on or experiential learning.
Few months down the line, final year archaeology students of the University of Ghana are here to study as part of their field work. Already, some significant archaeological discoveries have been made.
We found several teeth. And when you come to delicate objects like human remains, then you have to be more careful because, for example, this piece is a part of a skull. And so if you were just digging with a big tool, you were going to end up damaging everything. And so you can see here, this is a premolar, this is a molar, this is another one. So we are dealing with a human jaw.
More discoveries were made on the steep hills of Shai, where ancestors were believed to have lived.
Here is a labor ward for the ancestors. You see, in the olden days, they don't have clinics and they don't have hospitals. Here is a baby's cot.
That's a baby's cot?
Baby's cot, yes.
A baby's cot over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And here is where let's say the midwife help the woman to give birth. After giving birth, then they put the baby
in the cot.
In the cot, yes.
Students took advantage to learn more about what happened here centuries ago.
Archaeology is very significant in the sense that it goes beyond just written history. And we always complain that our written histories are biased towards Europeans because they left the archives from which we write the histories. What archaeology gives us is the opportunity to revise some of these histories or reinterpreting our past.
Officials of the University of Ghana noted an establishment of a Center for Archaeology, Culture and Biodiversity Conservation will create a platform that will tell a better story of the people.
We'll be doing massive photography.
Nana Kwekwedia, TV3 News, Shai Hills.
The United Nations Children's Fund is set to embark on a national scale-up of TB-Tap, a cost-effective technology that aids hand-washing in basic schools. At a ceremony to end the pilot project in the Volta region, a water, sanitation and hygiene expert with UNICEF, Letitia Akon, said bad hand-washing practices has been the major cause of mortality in children under 5 in Ghana.
TB-Tap is a technology invented by Dr. Jim Watt, a Zimbabwean, adopted by UNICEF. The technology serves as hands-free wash appropriate for rural areas where there is no running water. Produced with local materials, TB-Tap is operated by a foot lever and reduces the chance of bacteria transmission as the user touches only the soap. It has been established that regular hand washing with soap can reduce the risk of diarrhea by 47% and respiratory tract infections by 23%. It is against this background that UNICEF introduced the TB-Tap in Ghana 3 years ago through a pilot exercise in the Volta region. TB-Tap was championed in 3,900 public basic schools in all 25 districts of the Volta region. At the end of the pilot exercise, UNICEF affirmed that technology has made positive impact as it increased hand-washing facilities in public schools from 28% to 95% within the period the project was piloted.
Results indicate that over 95% of all basic schools now have functional TB-Tap with water and soap. As a result of this, we have been able to record lower records of diarrhea cases for last year.
Volta Regional Planning Officer Isaac Tete said hand-washing facilities will be one of the criteria to approve development plans of the assemblies.
I want to entreat and encourage everybody here that I, as a district or regional planner, I will make sure that all the plans that are coming for validation, I will make sure tippy-top programs are incorporated in the plan.
You're still watching News 360. We'll be right back with more news updates after this. Do stay. Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission. All right, don't forget that Mission is proudly supported by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. Let's do some health. And the major hindrance to quality and effective healthcare in the Wa East District of the Upper West region is the poor road network. Now, Brighton Anamfo reports a poor transport system and the inability of the district assembly to repair and construct roads as a result of inadequate funding is causing the deaths of pregnant women.
Over 200 kilometers of road, all poor, dusty and unmotorable. This is one of the two highways that link the Wa East District to the rest of the Upper East region, from Wa to Katwa and beyond, and then also from Wa to Fancy on the other side of the district. Now, this has over 100 communities lying along this part of the road. Traders, health personnel, teachers, and all workers commute on this link to Wa to transact business. The terrible nature of the road is affecting healthcare, education, and the transaction of businesses. Yet, this is what many caregivers and patients commute on daily to give or receive healthcare. No two communities are joined by a tarred road. The results are harrowing experiences of women, especially pregnant women. Some dodge certain medical examinations due to poor roads.
If I sit on the car, I hear the pain of my stomach, so I can't sit comfortable and calm here. By the way, anytime that I want to go to work and come back here, I hear the pain of my stomach. The car is not, the road is no good for us to drain the car to work and come back here.
Vehicles travel several hours on unengineered roads. Patients delay in seeking healthcare, worsening health conditions. Zina had to be transferred to Wa, and it's a headache. The road from Manwe to Wa is in such a bad state. Now, how does she get transported? The husband would have to find a way, perhaps put her on this motorbike to Wa, or perhaps look for another way out. Chief, how would you send her to Wa? The husband just told us that he's going to put her on the motorbike and then support her with another person behind her to move them to the facility. Now, Mary, this is how you get your patient referred to Wa, and the road network. How is it affecting what you do here?
Mostly when you transfer people, and most of them is always like this. There are no ways means we don't have emergency transport that you could easily call the person anytime to come for their clients. So the person have to carry the person by any other means possible. And looking at the road, the women are always in pain, and the shaking and all those things, it always increase the pain. By the time you even get to the hospital, you become restless and very tired, even finding it difficult to push for the baby to come out during delivery.
motorbikes and the motorking have become the main means in place of commercial vehicles. In some cases, however, rickety minibuses offer life-saving services.
I always refer to a number of them. For instance, I have two classical cases. One is the issue of transportation challenge. A woman came to one of our health centers, 7 a.m. In labor. The midwife at first examination knew that this one was a problematic delivery. She said, I have to transfer or refer this patient to, and the only place you can refer to again is WA. Every available means of transport was explored, and it took from 7 a.m. till about 4 p.m. before something could be done, including the fact that they now had to go back and look for money to buy tires, to change somebody's car tires before they transported. That lady, I mean, we audited that in WA. It was very shameful and embarrassing for the entire system that this was a situation recognized and detected earlier, but because of limitations in the system, particularly in transportation, the woman only got there when they got the means around 4 p.m., had to traverse the route 3-4 hours, got to WA at 8 p.m. There was no sign of life.
In some villages, a care truck missed can mean 2 days of inability to move out of the district. Sometimes women risk the lives of their children just to make a trip in the district. Healthcare givers' nightmare have been experiences on roads. The district's major headache is raising funds for work on these roads. Feeder roads are sometimes reshaped, but the two major highways, Wahabu, Funsi, Kundugu, remain untarred and dusty, while the Wa-Bilenga highway is in the same condition.
The two major roads that we have they are just F roads, but because they are under highways, we call them the major roads and the highway roads. But it has been a very long time that these two roads has never received any graveling. Some of the roads are past, they have never been engineered before, and then some are engineered, but they don't receive reshaping, and accessibility to communities in those areas are very difficult. This problem of accessibility actually hinders the activities of farmers, traders, and even government workers like nurses and teachers. Some of them find it difficult to get to their workplaces.
Turnaround time for healthcare givers is therefore affected. It takes almost 5 hours to do a round trip in the district. Planners are suggesting solutions.
Locational disadvantage. Even when we are going to organize our assembly meetings, a majority of the assemblymen are in the Bulinga area. So the issue of facilitating their movement to the assembly to deliberate on assembly issues actually makes organizing assembly meeting and some other meetings expensive. If we are able to link up the rules, work on the rules to improve movements, I'm sure it will help in the work of the district assembly.
The district assembly says it will need funding to reconstruct the highways in order to improve healthcare delivery in the district.
Now from health, let's do some education. And two districts of the Upper West region, Dafiama, Busie, Isa, and Wa East, have taken a leap in efforts at getting children with disability to go to school. Brighton and Anfo reports, though infrastructure is poor and inadequate, education authorities are sensitizing communities to get these children to be placed in schools.
Basic school infrastructure is a challenge.
If you look at the infrastructural situation in the Wa East, it's very, very challenging, particularly at the KG level. I think it's zero infrastructure include like classroom situation. Most of them are in churches and open air classrooms.
But what is available is taking care of physically challenged children. In both the Dafiema, Busie, Isa, and the Wa East districts, schools have ramps for children. Though not all schools here have physically challenged children, they have been provided for. Schools in the two districts, however, have children with special needs. At the Girls Model Junior High School at Dafiama, girls who get admission and are physically challenged can go into classrooms easily. At the Kurupong Basic School, children who are physically challenged can also attend school.
We went around to the communities, sensitized them, and talked a lot about the importance of the disabled child and the support that we have. If you look at the special schools, there are not so many in our region. So we educated them that yes, we can enroll these children into the regular school system and then manage them. But our issue now is an infrastructural situation where some children find it very difficult to go into the regular schools because of the structure of the buildings. And then
those with special needs are not left out. Orphaned children and children with learning difficulties are also being catered for. Communities have been very welcoming in getting these kids to go to school compared to the past.
The community members have been sensitized to know that people with special needs also need education.
This is a plus for education authorities. The two districts have bought wholly into government's inclusive education policy and are doing all they can to ensure these children are not left out.
We went around to educate them and even screen them to see the degree of impairments and other things, and possibly make referrals to medical institutions for support. Last year, we went around to do the screening with specialists from the Ministry of Health who supported us to do that. So right now, before we admit any child into primary 1 or KG, we make sure that we do the screening to know their status before they are put in school.
Inclusive education explores avenues through which children with special needs can be supported to go through education.
Well, that's all for Mission for this weekend. Don't forget that Mission is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the European Union. Isa is standing by with some more news updates.
Thank you, Solis. Now let's move on to Parliament, where some minority members have criticized the office of the President for how it communicated the departure of the Vice President to the United Kingdom for medical attention. They asked the Presidency to properly inform Ghanaians on such important issues.
The Presidency had promised to be forthcoming with medical information after it broke the news about Vice President Dr. Bawumia's medical status last Friday. An earlier statement on social media pointing to the UK trip was described as fake. The Communications Director, Eugene Ahin, had said an authentic statement would soon be released. The Chief of Staff statement released Saturday morning was signed Friday, January 19, 2018. This raised concerns about whether the Vice President left the country last Friday or whether the date was an error. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu raised it on the floor of Parliament Sunday.
We can only wish His Excellency the Vice President well. Allah wa ta'ala should grace him with his grace to come back to the office. Mr. Speaker, we are not happy with government communicators at the office of the Presidency.
Other MPs agreed the Presidency could have done better with its communication on such critical issues.
Communication lapse in all that. It is normal for a Vice President to go for a checkup or to be flown out or to go to hospital. To me, you don't need to announce that until it is so critical.
But some MPs on the majority side disagreed.
I have no iota of doubt that the communication that emanated out of the Flagstaff House had been tainted or was not done properly.
For others, this brings to bear the challenges with specialist doctors and equipment in Ghanaian hospitals.
There's no doubt when you go to Ridge, when you go to Legon Hospital, when you go to Kolebu and Tamale Teaching Hospitals, we do have facilities and the level of expertise that can take care of almost what we all suffer from. So some of us were taken aback that the kind of ailment he's suffered was so serious that could not be treated in this country.
But a Deputy Health Minister, Kingsley Abwaje Jedu, disagrees.
We had Ghanaian doctors looking after him on the Thursday and Friday, but they, upon their advice, that he had to seek a medical care outside the country.
Now, away from that, the Textile, Garment and Leather Manufacturers Association of Ghana is urging government to address challenges confronting the country's textile industry before thinking of revamping its defunct factories. An executive member of the association, Michael Asari-Ibwa, believes that this would boost the textiles and garment industry and also create additional jobs.
Although the patronage of fabrics have increased over the last 5 years, the Ghanaian textile and apparel industry cannot boast of a corresponding improvement in profit and growth. The wide disparity in the product pricing of imported already sewn apparel as against a locally made apparel is due to high cost of electricity and high interest rates on bank loans, which influences the eventual cost of production in the country. A textile producer and a member of the Textile and Garment Association, Michael Asari-Ibwa, who was adjudged the national best garment, textile and leather producer, is worried about the dwindling fortunes of the industry.
Getting credit from banks is very, very pathetic. Yeah, it's over 20 years now. I haven't gotten any serious credit from any bank, not even up to 100 Ghana cedis. So it's like, when I got the small business, then I organized myself to buy some of the machines that I need.
He urged government to support the local garment and textile industry since the sector had the potential to employ many more people.
Senior high school students in the Ashanti region have been displaying their innovative prowess at the maiden engineering competition organized by the Ghana Institution of Engineers. Now, the initiative has produced some indigenous inventions with the potential to solve some challenges in society. Here's a report by Benjamin Edu.
Under the project, 21 participating senior high schools in the Ashanti region were tasked to develop solutions to societal problems using an engineering principle. Project proposals were vetted by a team of astute engineers, and the best 10 feasible projects were selected for the finals. The objective is to nurture young science students to develop interest in engineering programs. Competing schools produce items including a smartphone projector device, automatic security light switching system, hydrogen fuel enhancer, and converting waste into electricity and hydrocarbon fuels. Others include a system to convert solar energy to power air conditioners without the use of inverters and a fume chamber to absorb gases from laboratories. A student from Kumasi Anglican Senior High School, Eugene Omanian Ponsa, explains the rationale behind the hydrogen fuel enhancer.
We will produce this hydrogen gas and we will give it to the airbox, and the airbox will transfer it to the engine so that the engine will mix the hydrogen gas we produce with the fossil fuel, that is petrol, the diesel, so that it will reduce the amount of petrol used in the car, and also the exhaust, which is produced with smoke, will reduce, and water.
National President of the Ghana Institute of Engineers, Engineer Carlian Bouchedid, was impressed with the quality of work displayed by the students.
If you look at those ideas they are presenting, some of them are very serious ideas, and you know, if we could get people who can commercialize them, it can go a lot way to even help the country.
Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Institution of Engineers also spoke about the importance of engineering. The competition will be replicated across the country to improve students' knowledge on engineering.
All right, and don't forget that you can get interactive with us as always via our social media handles. Also get updates on more news via our website 3news.com. We'll be right back with more news after this. Stay with us.
Entertainment tonight, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have a new baby, and fans have been wondering since its birth what name the power couple would give to their third child.
On Monday, January 15, Kim Kardashian announced to the entire world the arrival of the fifth member of her family. Kim and her husband Kanye West became parents to a baby girl delivered via a surrogate. After so many months of speculating who the surrogate mother was, fans now had a new guessing game going. What name would this power couple give their third child? The Kardashian Wests are notorious for peculiar baby names, with their previous names for daughter Northwest and son Saint West. Now, fans can relax because the baby name is out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chicago West. Yep. Chicago West. It's
Well,
we're not surprised though.
I mean, nobody can challenge parents or what name they give to their wards. I mean,
Well, with most
Chicago
people
West.
thinking that, you know, it's a bizarre name, but it's actually where Kanye West was born, and that's where he, that's where he grew up. And then one of his albums, he dedicates an entire song to that particular, city. So it's fine.
You know so much about it. I'm sure we'll find some this for you too. That's it for this edition of News 360. My name is Issa Moli. Thanks for watching.
And I am Solace Rose Quarty. Good evening.